Welcome to HornAfrica Insight, your source for East Africa news and analysis. Today, we bring you 5 major stories. Trump signals a U.S. role in ending Sudan's war. Malaysia's prime minister concludes his Ethiopia visit. Singapore's prime minister heads to the G20. And Addis Ababa experts warn rising Nile levels may force Egypt to activate the Toshka Spillway. And online tensions grow between Ethiopia and Eritrea over Red Sea access. Facts now. Hashtag HornAfrica Insight. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is ready to help end the war in Sudan. He made the statement after Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman asked the U.S. to take a more active role. Trump spoke during a Saudi investment forum and confirmed that he discussed Sudan with the Crown Prince at the White House earlier this week. Trump said, work to support peace efforts began within 30 minutes of the request. He said the United States will work with Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, and other partners to push for an immediate end to fighting and to address the humanitarian crisis. Trump wrote on Truth Social that Sudan is facing tremendous atrocities and called it the most violent place on earth, with millions in need of food and medical help. The war between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces began in 2023. It has killed tens of thousands, displaced around 12 million people, and left 25 million facing acute hunger. Foreign involvement has made peace efforts more complex. The UAE is accused of supporting the RSF, while Egypt backs the Sudanese army. General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan welcomed the U.S. initiative. U.S. officials say the priorities are a humanitarian truce, the flow of aid, and a path back to civilian governance. Reactions are mixed. Some hope Trump's influence may push both sides to talks. Others doubt the role of regional partners who have been involved in the conflict. Whether this new push can change the situation remains uncertain. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has concluded his 3-day visit to Ethiopia, marking 60 years of diplomatic relations. The visit follows Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's trip to Malaysia last year. The two countries signed 4 agreements covering tourism, health cooperation, air services, and city partnerships between Addis Ababa and Kuala Lumpur. Talks also focused on trade, investment, digital economy projects, green development, and education. Anwar called the visit productive and said both countries can benefit by combining their strengths. During his stay, Anwar met Islamic leaders in Ethiopia and discussed interfaith harmony before donating Qurans. Malaysia reopened its embassy in Addis Ababa earlier this year after being closed for 42 years. Bilateral trade reached 625.6 million ringgit in 2024. Malaysia mainly exports electronics, palm oil, chemical products, and textiles, while importing agricultural items and minerals. Anwar said Ethiopia is important because of its large population, fast-growing economy, and role as the African Union headquarters. He also attended a high-level business forum with Ethiopian and Malaysian companies. He later met Ethiopia's President Taye Atske-Selassie and AU chairperson Mahamudu Ali Yusuf. Anwar is the first Malaysian prime minister to visit Ethiopia. His next stops are the G20 summit in South Africa, followed by Kenya. Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong is attending the G20 summit in Johannesburg from November 21st to 23rd. This year's theme is solidarity, equality, sustainability. Discussions will center on climate change, global inequality, and geopolitical tensions. Although Singapore is not a G20 member, it has been a regular invited guest for nearly 2 decades. The G20 represents 85% of the world economy and 75% of global trade. After the summit, Wong will travel to Ethiopia from November 23rd to 25th at the invitation of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. This is his first visit to Africa as Prime Minister. Ethiopia and Singapore are working on cooperation in transport, digital services, and capacity-building programs. Trade between the two countries reached 275 million Singapore dollars in 2024. During the visit, Wang will lay a wreath at the Adwa Victory Monument, meet the head of the Africa CDC, and tour the Repi Wilmar factory, where Singapore's Wilmar Group holds a major stake. Singapore sees Africa as a growing region, expected to be the world's fastest-growing continent by 2029. The visit aims to open new economic and diplomatic opportunities for both countries. An Egyptian water expert has warned that rising Nile levels may soon force authorities to open the Toshka Spillway for the first time this season. Dr. Abbas Sharaki, professor of water resources and irrigation, said new satellite images show the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, has begun operating some of its upper turbines, sending additional water downstream towards Sudan and Egypt. In a post on Facebook, Sharaki explained that the Nile's water level has been steadily increasing since September 2025. If the trend continues, Egypt may need to open the Toshka Spillway, a safety channel in southern Egypt designed to divert excess water from Lake Nasser. The spillway remains closed as of now. Sharaki noted that images captured over recent days show limited turbine activity at the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, more than 2 months after its official inauguration. However, the two lower turbines, which are usually used during high flows, have remained shut since mid-July. Based on data from Sudan's Ad-Diem station on the Ethiopian border, the Blue Nile is currently delivering between 100 and 200 million cubic meters per day. By contrast, inflow from Lake Tana and recent rainfall is estimated at around 70 million cubic meters per day, meaning the remaining volume entering Sudan is coming from the GERD reservoir. The lake level behind GERD is now near 640 meters above sea level. Rumors circulating online recently claimed that Egypt had already opened the Toshka Spillway to manage a sudden surge of Ethiopian water. The Egyptian government denied this, saying Lake Nasser and the Nile River channel are absorbing the incoming flow. Authorities added that some low-lying lands along the Nile were inundated because of the seasonal rise, not because of spillway operations. Egypt's Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation criticized Ethiopia for what it described as undisciplined operation of the GERD, saying the sudden release of large amounts of water caused unexpected flooding in parts of Sudan and created challenges for managing flows at the high dam. A coordinated campaign on X, largely shared by Ethiopian government supporters, embassies, and consular pages, is urging Eritrea to enter negotiations with Ethiopia on securing commercial access to the Red Sea. The messaging highlights shared culture, economic benefits, and Ethiopia's landlocked challenges. It also includes accusations that Eritrea has supported armed groups in Amhara and Tigray, claims Asmara strongly rejects. Eritrea has dismissed the outreach as propaganda, arguing that Ethiopia is attempting to reframe a settled historical issue. As Eritrean officials repeatedly point out, the Port of Assab was not decided by the Eritrea-Ethiopia Boundary Commission ruling, but became Eritrean territory in 1991 through the independence referendum. They accuse Ethiopia of trying to reopen the question under the banner of sovereign sea access, which they say violates the core principles of the 2018 Peace and Friendship Agreement, especially Article 1, ending the state of war and respecting sovereignty and territorial integrity. Articles 4 and 5, full implementation of the Eritrea-Ethiopia Boundary Commission, border decision, and joint efforts for peace and cooperation. Eritrea's information ministry says the positive momentum from the 2018 agreement collapsed in December 2023, when Ethiopia publicly advanced what Eritrea describes as expansionist and irredentist claims, including references to sovereign access to the sea, and correcting the historical event of 1991 that led to Eritrean independence. Eritrean officials accuse the Ethiopian ruling party of saber-rattling, manipulating public sentiment, and preparing an unnecessary confrontation. Their position is that the only solution is strict adherence to international law and mutual respect for sovereignty. Meanwhile, Ethiopian voices online argue that dialogue is necessary and that a commercial port deal benefits both sides. As multiple regional studies show, Eritrean ports remain underutilized. The exchange has sharply divided users on X between Ethiopians calling for pragmatic economic arrangements and Eritreans firmly defending independence and territorial integrity. From diplomatic pushes to rising Nile levels and regional tensions, the Horn of Africa continues to shift. Like, share, and subscribe for more updates.